So I'm Jan Borghs. I'm a project program manager at Bayard Partnership. I've been doing this for the last 8 years, 9 years now, and enjoying it as much as I can. I grew up in Grimbergen, which is just north of Brussels, which is a relatively small town, although it's not as small anymore as it used to be. I studied industrial engineering. The reason I chose that was because at the time I was very much interested, I'm talking about mid-80s, late 80s, very much interested in computers technology, which was the thing at the time. So I went for industrial engineering with the specialization in computer systems. And I'm still busy in that area, and I still enjoy it. And it's the reason I still enjoy it is because it's a field that continues evolving, and there's always new things. So that's what I like a lot about that field. After a while, working as an industrial engineer and then really in the computer system business, what I noticed was I was lacking a little bit background on finance. So I also did a postgraduate in business economics to be more versed and when I speak to management about the financial aspects of business as well. So currently I'm married since over 25 years now. I have two children, two boys, 22 and 24 years old. So they're still studying, although the oldest one just finished his studies and he'll start working next month, in fact. And the youngest one is still studying. I'm very much into music, not so much playing it myself, but listening to it. I go to a lot of concerts and it's something I really enjoy because it really can take your mind off things and you can be very quickly in a different world by listening to some great music, and it really can support your mood or get you into a particular mood as well if you feel the need to. Next to that, I love traveling as well. I like to go many places close by, but also not so close, just to discover how things work in other parts of the world and see how it differs from our way of looking at things or how similar it is. And typically, there's a lot of similarities and some differences, so that's nice to understand and to relate to the people there. The assignment is going fairly well. As always, there are some concerns, but nothing that cannot be managed. So main concern is delivery on time because we have a fairly strict deadline, but business keeps adding requirements. So we really need to manage the scope very well so that we can prioritize what is really bringing value for the first release of the product. I started out initially as a hardware engineer, fresh from university, and then I quickly grew into a sales role where initially I did sales for software, hardware solutions and projects, and at a fairly young age got into international sales. So I spent some years traveling around and helping also the local organizations sell the products and the services that we were offering. But at some point, I got the feeling that there was a lot of need from our customers, and they had difficulties. They were struggling with getting things done in the organization, and that's when I started to become more interested in growing into a consulting role and starting to help them, not just selling them a product, but really help them implement the project management, helping them implement project management methodologies so they can more effectively deliver on their projects. And that's what I started out on initially as a consultant, doing more methodology work at organizations, and now I've grown more into delivering actually programs and projects for the customers as well. I don't have one assignment, to be honest. I think from every assignment that I've had so far, and all assignments that will still come, I hope the same, have allowed me to grow myself as well. And that's what I'm looking for mainly in an assignment. Despite the years that I've been doing this, I still feel the need and to grow and to learn, and that's something. So far, every assignment has brought me, even the shorter ones. There's always stuff you can learn from other perspectives that people bring in your assignment that you weren't familiar with, but that are equally valuable to your own opinions and your own ways of working. There was one assignment in my career where I worked in a young company with a bunch of young people, kind of a startup organization. And the fun thing about it was there was really a sense of purpose in with everyone in the organization to move forward and to deliver something together. And it was really, you felt a really team spirit in there, and everyone was working towards that same goal. And that's something I try to recreate still on every assignment I work on, is to get that team spirit feeling for, with the team, we're there, we're gonna deliver, no matter what, we're gonna make sure that we deliver. I don't see myself as a specialist. I think my strength is mainly in having a very broad knowledge and being able to speak about a lot of things with a lot of people, be it software development with the developers, with the infrastructure people about the infrastructure, but also with management about business, about finance, how things progress. So I'm more of I think, a broad knowledge person than a real specialist in anything. If I would say anything, it's because that's been my interest in the last couple of years at least, well, at least 10 years or more even, is on project methodologies. So be it waterfall, the classic Prince 2 PMI methodologies, but also Agile. I think Agile is still very much misunderstood in many organizations. Many organizations struggle still in implementing it, and I can see it can bring a lot of value and much better ways of working. But the difficulty is that with Agile is that if you want to do it properly, you need to do it from the top to the bottom, or from bottom to top, whatever works best in the organization. But it's got to go through the full range of the organization, not just in IT, in the development department, because then the benefits it will bring are fairly limited. The ideal assignment for me is one where I can help other people grow in their role. I think it's important for me as a consultant not just to deliver whatever the organization is expecting, but also delivering value to the people in the organization, so that when I leave, which I will eventually do, that these people feel more strengthened in their way of working. But aside from that, of course, from any other assignment that is or would fit more or less the perfect bill, is one where I will grow myself as well. I think personal growth is one of the important things I look for in any assignment, and I've noticed that this can come from the many different people in the organization, not just from the managers, but very often also from the young people with their fresh way of looking at things, and they can bring a lot of value to the organization that way, because they're not tainted yet by the old habits that many of us already have, and that is really something that is really, really useful. Well, I believe in Darwin's credo that says that those that will survive are the ones that are most adept to change, and I think that is something I'll try to apply myself in my daily life, is evolving, learning, continue learning on new technologies, how things are changing, so that you are still with it whenever there's new opportunities coming up. Well, I think the answer that many people give, and which I also believe in, is honesty. Honesty is important because it's really the basis to build trust amongst the team. And that trust is really the basis of and the foundation of success in delivery. If the trust is there, people are honest, even if they have bad news to bring. They can bring it openly without fear of retaliation or punishment. I have noticed that in organizations where that is possible, those are the most successful, and they really are really good at delivering things on time, within budget, much better than those where this part is missing. Well, clearly a big trend today is the digitalization of processes, the way of using digital technology to improve the experience for the customer and the internal efficiency of the organization. And I think that is a trend that will still continue for some time. The new technologies with the web technologies enabling a lot of automatization that was previously unthinkable will really continue to drive forward a lot of the organizations today. I'm an optimist. I think the future is bright. There's still many things that are possible. There's a lot of change. The rate of innovation is really still extremely high, which will bring a lot of new possibilities that we can only dream of nowadays. I want to keep in sync with these evolving technologies and make sure that I can still deliver value, whatever the new technology is that the world will bring. One other associate I worked with a couple of years ago was Guy. He is also a very nice guy, always in for a joke, really fun to work with, and yeah, I really enjoyed working with him. The key takeaway is that Agile can work. It's really one of the first times that I saw that it's possible at an enterprise level to use Agile in an efficient manner and to really get the success with the methodology. It's something that was achieved by a lot of open-mindedness, also from top management, to try things and adapt whilst we were going along. And that way we really got it working. Don't be afraid to fail. I think it's important that people feel that whenever there might be failure, that they're not going to be punished too hard for it, that they still can keep the trust of the management. I think it's important if you want to try to achieve something with a team, you very often will see that there is failure along the road, and it's important to not to be too reticent and to try to avoid that failure, because sometimes failure can bring very good ideas to do things much better than you initially thought. First thing, I think, and probably not the exceptional in that, is asking a lot of questions. But what's even more important is that I listen very carefully to the answers that they actually bring to the questions that I ask. Because based on that, you can really form very quickly a good idea of where the challenges might be and how you can work to make sure that you avoid any eventual pitfalls in your assignment.